Hey guys, it's Ollie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So you guys really seemed to enjoy whenever I made a Snails Throughout History video, so I figured I would make a similar one and kind of make this into a little series. So I asked you guys on my community tab what animal you wanted to see next throughout lore, and you guys voted for toads. So before we jump into it, just a disclaimer, I'm not an expert, I just really enjoy myths and legends and I really like retelling them. I may not have heard the same one you have, I may mispronounce things. Just bear with me on that. And if you hear chaos in the background, it's my cats and dogs. Sorry about that. Alright, anyway, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So toads had a pretty decent part in Mesoamerican culture, so let's go ahead and start there with the Olmec tribe. The Olmec tribe had a toad god of rebirth, who was often depicted eating his own skin. The toad god is reborn and consuming itself this way. This toad god is reborn by consuming itself in this way, thus kind of trapping itself in the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, just like how the tribe believed humans were. Similarly, the early Aztecs and other Mesoamerican civilization viewed toads as the Earth Mother goddess. This goddess governed over the death and rebirth cycle. Other Mesoamerican tribes viewed toads and frogs as rain spirits and would often use them in rituals to call upon rain. They would also tend to blame them for droughts. Like most myth and lore, there are patterns throughout different parts of the world, so let's hop over to ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, frogs and toads represented fertility and were associated with renewal and rebirth. However, not all civilizations saw toads as good. In medieval Europe, toads were seen as evil creatures whose body had strange powers. Some of these views came from authors from classic Rome or Greece. There's also this really widely held superstition that there was a jewel inside of a toad's head. When this jewel or toadstone was harvested and put into a necklace or a ring, it was supposed to tell you if it was near venom. It did this by either heating up or changing colors. This gave advantage to the wearer to know that they are not being poisoned. Shakespeare actually alludes to this superstition in his play As You Like It. Medieval Europe also believed that toads were evil spirits that aided in witchcraft. So moving right along to our last culture, ancient China. Ancient China's lore is riddled with frogs and toads. Many lores saw them as magicians, masters of spells, tricksters, and spirits who brought wealth and were sometimes seen as incredibly greedy. Ancient China viewed toads as a female force, and the moon was their symbol. I'll get more into that story here. So the story goes that the earth once had 10 suns, and obviously this is unbearable. So finally, a skilled archer, Ho Yi, decided that enough was enough, and he went up to the challenge of shooting the suns. He shot 9 of the 10 suns, and as a reward, a goddess gave him a vial of immortality. Most legends go that Ho Yi did not want to drink this elixir of immortality because it was only enough for one person, meaning he'll have to leave his wife Cheng-U behind, and he didn't want to do that. Now there are 2 versions of how it goes next. One version is that Ho Yi's apprentice decides he wants to steal the vial, so Cheng-U decided that she wasn't going to let that happen, and she ended up drinking the elixir instead, after which she ended up ascending to the moon. The other version of how she got to the moon was that she betrayed her husband, and after her husband hid the vial away, she found it and drank it, and out of fear of his anger, she went ahead and went up to the moon. And the other version is one where the gods are disgusted with her betrayal and send her to live alone on the moon. Cheng-U became the moon goddess. Now once she got on the moon, there are 2 different versions. One is that she disguised herself as a toad to hide from her husband even further, and the other is that the gods punished her by turning her into a toad. Some versions don't even have a toad, and instead she has a rabbit. There's tons of versions of this story, but since this is a toad lore story, I'm just going over those. A couple things from the story are for certain. One is that Cheng-U became the moon goddess, and the other is that this inspired the Mid-Autumn Festival. The way that it inspired this was that her husband did miss her, and until the day he died, every full moon, he would put out her favorite fruits. And the Mid-Autumn Festival, most of China's culture still practice that. Now, in a lot of Chinese culture, you might know that there are money frogs or money toads. They're usually found in businesses or homes, and they're usually gold toads that are usually displayed with a mountain of coins and or a coin in its mouth. These are supposed to bring wealth, luck, and good fortune to the business or home. Usually it is depicted as a 3-legged toad. Most of these go to the story of Cheng-U, but some of them are a little bit different. I'll be going over my favorite one, which I don't see a lot of people talking about. I can't find a lot of sources for it, but I know that I heard it a lot growing up. This story goes that a farmer was getting water from a pond, and in doing so, scooped up a toad in his bucket. He brought his catch home for his wife to cook and eat, and then realized something strange. The toad only had 3 legs. Because of this, the farmer took pity on him and decided to just release him back to the water. To thank him for his kindness, the toad returned to the farm every full moon with gifts of gold and other valuables, causing the farmer to end up being wealthy. Like I said, there are other legends of why it's a three-legged toad, why toads bring money, all that stuff. Some of the culture just believes that they're just spirits of wealth, and sometimes they just bring money, or when they're traveling through they drop money. Some believe that toads can actually just spit out coins, but regardless, they are often seen as symbols of wealth. Well, that was pretty much all I had for you this time around. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see more of these like animals through lore videos. I'm hoping to make a series out of it. When I'm ready to make another one, I'll probably make a poll in the community tab, so make sure you're here for that. As always, give this video a like for the algorithm. Subscribe if you're into this kind of content, or really any animal kind of content. I post every single Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you can hit the bell if you don't remember that. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram. The link will be down in the description below. I also do have an art Instagram account where I do custom pet pictures. The link to that will also be in the description below. And as always, I'll see you next week. Bye!